Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Please subscribe to the channel and also please do like and share and leave your suggestions in the comment section. The events of 30th September 2024 are follows. Bengali date 13 Asin 1431. As per Benimadavsil Punjika, today's Tithi is Krishna Trayodashi and up to 1919 hours, and after that Krishna Chaturdashi. His Nakshatra is Moha Nakshatra and up to 0804 hours, and after that Purva Falguni Nakshatra. Today is 274th day of the year. There are then 92 days left in 2024. Today is 40th Monday of 2024. Today is International Translation Day. International Translation Day is an international day recognizing translation professionals, celebrated every year on 30th September, which is the day of the feast of Saint Jerome, the Bible translator, who is considered the patron saint of translators. Established by the United Nations in 2017, International Translation Day serves as a tribute to the tireless efforts of translators and interpreters in promoting dialogue, peace, and mutual understanding among individuals from diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds. Today is International Podcast Day. International Podcast Day is celebrated on September 30th every year to celebrate the art of podcasting and its impact on society. The day is a time to connect with others, share stories, connect with podcasters, and meet with our podcast enthusiasts. Explore new shows, discover new podcasts, and explore the vast universe of podcasts. Create content, start a podcast, or try out a video episode. Raise awareness, promote the podcasting community, and raise awareness about the medium. Spread the word, share the celebration on social media, and use the hashtag International Podcast Day. The idea for International Podcast Day started in 2013 and became a reality in the United States in 2014 as a National Podcast Day. Today is International Thunderbirds Day. International Thunderbirds Day is a celebration that honors the iconic British television series Thunderbirds, which was created by Gary and Sylvia Anderson and the first aired in 1965. The event takes place annually on September 30th, coinciding with the anniversary of the show's original premiere. Today, Munich Agreement signed. The notorious Munich Agreement, in which Britain's Neville Chamberlain encouraged Britain and France to appease Adolf Hitler's demands in the hope of preventing World War II, was reached on this day in 1938. Today is death anniversary of Miss Eunice Newton Foote, 17 July 1819 to 30 September 1888. Eunice Newton Foote was an American scientist, inventor, and women's rights campaigner. She was the first scientist to confirm that certain gases burn when exposed to sunlight and that therefore rising carbon dioxide (CO2) levels could increase atmospheric temperature and affect climate, a phenomenon now referred to as the greenhouse effect. Born in Connecticut, Foote was raised in New York at the center of social and political movements of her day, such as the abolition of slavery, anti-alcohol activism, and women's rights. She attended the Troy Female Seminary and the Rensselaer School from age 17 to 19, gaining a broad education in scientific theory and practice. After marrying attorney Eliza Foote in 1841, Foote settled in Seneca Falls, New York. He was a signatory to the Declaration of Sentiments and one of the editors of the proceedings of the 1898 Seneca Falls Convention, the first gathering to treat women's rights as its sole focus. In 1856, she published a paper notable for demonstrating the absorption of heat by CO2 and water vapor and hypothesizing that changing amounts of CO2 in the atmosphere could affect or alter the climate. It was the first known publication in a scientific journal by an American woman in the field of physics. He published a second paper in 1857 on static electricity in atmospheric gases, although she was not a member of the American Association for the Advancement of Science (AAS). Both her papers were read at the organization's annual conferences. These were the only papers in the field of physics to be written by an American woman until 1889. She went on to patent several inventions. Uday died in 1888 and for almost 100 years her contributions were unknown. Before being rediscovered by women academics in the 20th century, in the 21st century, new interest in Fute arose when it was realized that her work predated discoveries made by John Tyndall, who had been recognized by scientists as the first person to experimentally show the mechanism of the greenhouse effect involving infrared radiation. Detailed examination of her work by modern scientists has confirmed that 3 years before Tyndall published his paper in 1859, Foote discovered that water vapor and CO2 absorb heat from sunlight. Furthermore, her view that variances in the atmospheric levels of water vapor and CO2 would result in climate change preceded Tyndall's 1861 publication by 5 years. Because of the limits of her experimental design and possibly a lack of knowledge of the infrared radiation, Foote did not examine or detect the absorption and emission of radiant energy within the thermal infrared range, which is the cause of the greenhouse effect. In 2022, the American Geophysical Union instituted the Eunice Newton Foote Medal for Earth Life Science in her honor to recognize outstanding scientific research. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Samacharan Lahiri, best known as Lahiri Mahasaya, 30th September 1828 to 26th September 1895. Samacharan Lahiri, 1828 to 1895, also known as Lahiri Mahasaya, was an Indian yogi and guru who founded the Kriya Yoga school. He was a disciple of Mahavatar Babaji and is known for making the ancient science of Kriya Yoga available to all, regardless of faith. Here are some things to know about Lahiri Mahasaya. Life. Lahiri Mahasaya was born in Bengal, India to a Brahmin family. He was a married householder with two sons and worked as an accountant to support his family. Kriya Yoga. Lahiri Mahasaya met Babaji near Ranikhet in 1861 and was initiated into Kriya Yoga. He is known for giving Kriya to people of all faiths, including Muslims and Christians. Legacy. Lahiri Mahasaya's life is described in Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi as an example of how to live in the world, yet not of the world. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Sivanath Sastri, 31st January 1847 to 30th September 1919. Sivanath Sastri was a prominent figure in the Brahmo Samaj, a religious and social reform movement in 19th century Bengal. He was an educator, social reformer, and key advocate of progressive ideas, particularly in the fields of women's education and social equality. Sivanath Sastri was closely associated with Keshav Chandra Sen, another leading figure of the Brahmo Samaj. He dedicated his life to promoting the ideals of monotheism, rationalism, and a more ethical society as envisioned by Raja Rammohn Rai, the founder of the Brahmo movement. One of Shastri's significant contributions was his role in education. He was a strong proponent of women's education and he worked tirelessly to create opportunities for women to access formal schooling. He was instrumental in the establishment of Srivanath Shastri College, a women's college in Kolkata, named in his honor, continuing his legacy in education reform. Srivanath Shastri was also a writer and historian known for his work on the history of the Brahmo Samaj and other social reform movements in Bengal. Today is birth anniversary of Jean Baptiste Perrin, 30th September 1870 to 17th April 1942. Jean-Baptiste Perrin was a French physicist who made significant contributions to the understanding of atomic theory and molecular motion. He is best known for his work on Brownian motion, which provided empirical evidence for the existence of atoms and molecules, and for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1926. Work on Brownian motion. Brownian motion refers to the erratic movement of microscopic particles suspended in a fluid, first observed by botanist Robert Brown in 1827. The cause of this motion was long debated. Perrin's experiments in the early 20th century provided crucial experimental evidence supporting Albert Einstein's theoretical explanation 1905 of Brownian motion, which showed that the movement was caused by the collisions of particles with molecules of the fluid, thereby demonstrating the existence of atoms and molecules. He measured the size and number of atoms in a given volume, confirming Einstein's predictions about the motion of particles. Nobel Prize in Physics. In 1926, Perrin was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on the discontinuous structure of matter, particularly for his studies of Brownian motion and its implications for atomic theory. His experiments provided one of the first definitive proofs that atoms and molecules are real physical entities, settling a long-standing debate in the scientific community. Contributions to science and education. Perrin's research also touched upon other areas of physics, such as the nature of cathode rays and the photoelectric effect. He was a strong advocate for science education and contributed to the development of scientific institutions in France. Perrin played a significant role in the establishment of the Institute of Radium in Paris, where physicists like Marie Curie conducted groundbreaking research. Perrin's experimental ingenuity and dedication to the atomic theory have cemented his place as one of the pioneers of modern physics. Birth anniversary Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Haijam Irabot, 30th September 1996 to 26th September 1951. Haijam Irabot, also known as Janoneta Haijam Irabot, was a prominent political leader, social activist, and freedom fighter from Manipur, India. He was deeply involved in various movements for the rights of farmers, laborers, and the downtrodden. Irabot is remembered for his fight against colonialism, feudalism, and oppression, especially in the northeastern region of India. He is also known for his work to establish a democratic government in Manipur and his opposition to the annexation of Manipur by India without proper democratic process. In addition to being a politician, Haijam Irabat was a writer and poet, using his work to voice the concerns of the oppressed and inspire change. His involvement in communist ideologies and his participation in organizing pleasant uprisings made him a key figure in shaping the political landscape of Manipur. Today, Iravath is regarded as a revolutionary hero, and his birthday, September 30, is commemorated as Iravath Day in Manipur, celebrating his contributions to the state's history and politics. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Patrick White, 28th May 1912 to 30th September 1990. Patrick Victor Martindale White was an Australian novelist and playwright who explored themes of religious experience, personal identity, and the conflict between visionary individuals and a materialistic conformist society. Influenced by the modernism of James Joyce, D. H. Lawrence, and Virginia Woolf, he developed a complex literary style and a body of work which challenged the dominant realist prose tradition of his home country. Was satirical of Australian society and sharply divided local critics. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1973, the only Australian to have been awarded the literary prize. Born in London to affluent Australian parents, White spent his childhood in Sydney and on his family's rural properties. He was sent to an English public school at the age 13 and went on to read modern languages at Cambridge. On his graduation in 1935, He embarked on a literary career. His first published novel, Happy Valley, 1939, was awarded the gold medal of the Australian Literary Society. In World War II, he served as an intelligence officer in the Royal Air Force. While stationed in Alexandria, Egypt in 1941, he met Monoli Lascaris, who was to become his life companion, and as White later wrote, the central mandala in my life hitherto is resigned. I returned to Australia in 1948, where he bought a small farm on the outskirts of Sydney. There he wrote the two novels, The Tree of Man, 1955, and Was, 1957, who brought him critical acclaim in the United States and the United Kingdom. In the 1960s, he wrote the novels Riders in the Chariot, 1961, The Solid Mandala, 1966, and a series of plays, including The Season of Sarsaparilla and The Cherry Soul, which had a major impact on Australian theatre. White and Lascaris moved to Sydney's Centennial Park in 1964 from the late 1960s. White became increasingly involved in public affairs, opposing the Vietnam War and supporting Aboriginal self-determination, nuclear disarmament, and various environmental causes. His later work includes the novels "In the Eye of the Storm" (1973), "The Truly Born Affair" (1979), and the memoir "Flaws in the Glass" (1981). Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Rishikesh Mukherjee, 30th September 1922 to 27 August 2006. Rishikesh Mukherjee was an Indian film director, editor, and writer. He is regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers of Indian cinema, popularly known as Rishida. He directed 42 films during his career, spanning over 4 decades, and is named the pioneer of the middle cinema of India, renowned for his social films and reflected the changing middle class ethos. Mukherjee carved a middle path between the extravagance of mainstream cinema and the stark realism of art cinema. He is known for a number of films including Anari, Sattakam, Chupke Chupke, Mama, Anand, Abhiman, Buddi, Golmaal, Majli Didi, Chaitali, Asirvad, Bawarchi, Khubsurat, Kisi Se Na Kahna, and Namak Haram. He also remained the chairman of the Central Board of Film Certification (CBFC) and one of the National Film Development Corporation (NFDC). The Government of India honored him with the Dadasaheb Phalke Award in 1999 and the Padma Bhushan in 2001. He received the NTR National Award in 2001 and also won 8 Filmfare Awards. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Martin Lewis Pearl, 24th June 1927 to 30th September 2014. Martin Lewis Pearl was an American physicist who is best known for his discovery of the tau lepton, a subatomic particle, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1995. His discovery expanded the understanding of elementary particles and the standard model of particle physics. Discovery of the tau lepton. Pearl made his most significant discovery while working at the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center (SLAC) in the 1970s. He and his team discovered a new kind of lepton which was heavier than the electron and the muon. This particle, the tau lepton, was identified through experiments involving high energy collisions of electrons and positrons. The discovery of the tau lepton revealed the existence of a third family of leptons, providing crucial evidence for the standard model of particle physics. Nobel Prize. Paul shared that the 1995 Nobel Prize in Physics with Frederick Lenz, who was recognized for his work on the discovery of the neutrino. Paul was honored specifically for his discovery of the tau lepton. Discovery of the tau lepton helped physicists gain a deeper understanding of the fundamental structure of matter and opened new avenues for research in particle physics. Legacy. Paul continued his research and teaching at Stanford until his retirement and remained active in the scientific community until his death in 2014. He was recognized not only for his groundbreaking discovery but also for his creativity and persistence in conducting challenging experiments. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Elie Wiesel, 30th September 1928 to 2nd July 2016. Eliezer Elie Wiesel was a Romanian-born American writer, professor, political activist, Nobel laureate, and Holocaust survivor. He authored 57 books, written mostly in French and English, including Night, a work based on his experiences as a Jewish prisoner in the Auschwitz and Buchenwald concentration camps. In his political activities, Weisel became a regular speaker on the subject of the Holocaust and remained a strong defender of human rights during his lifetime. He also advocated for many other causes like the state of Israel and against Hamas and victims of oppression, including Soviet and Ethiopian Jews, the apartheid in South Africa, the Bosnian genocide, Sudan, the Kurds, the Armenian genocide, Argentina's desaparecidos, or Nicaragua's mosquito people. He was a professor of the humanities at Boston University, which created the Elie Wiesel Center for Jewish Studies in his honor. He was involved with Jewish causes and human rights causes and helped establish the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. Wiesel was awarded various prestigious awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1986. He was a founding board member of the New York Human Rights Foundation and remained active in it throughout his life. 1744 Battle of Madonna dell'Olmo begins. The battle was fought during the War of the Austrian Succession and ended with the Spanish and French victory over the Kingdom of Sardinia. 1949 Berlin airlift ends. After 15 months of airlifting supplies to Berlin, the Berlin airlift led by American forces came to an end. The Berlin blockade was an international crisis where the Soviet Union blocked access of Western countries into Britain. 1960 Premiere of the Flintstones. The animated series of Flintstones premiered on TV. It was set in the Stone Age and it detailed the lives of the Flintstones and rival families. It ran for 6 years until April 1, 1966. 1966 Botswana becomes independent. Botswana gained independence from the United Kingdom. 2005 Danish newspaper Jyllands-Posten publishes controversial cartoon. Danish newspaper Jyllands-Posten published a controversial cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad. The publication led to riots and protests in many parts of the world. Today, the 30th September highlight in history. 1744, War of the Austrian Succession. France and Spain defeat Sardinia at the Battle of Madonna dell'Olmo, but soon have to withdraw from Sardinia anyway. 1791, the first performance of Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute, takes place 2 months before his death. 1791, France's National Constituted Assembly is dissolved, to be replaced the next day by the National Legislative Assembly. 1863, Georges Bizet's opera Les Picturesques des Perles premiered in Paris. 1882, Thomas Edison's first commercial hydroelectric power plant, later known as Appleton Edison Light Company, begins operation. 1888, Jack the Ripper kills his third and fourth victims, Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Edwards. 1906, the Royal Galician Academy, the Galician language's biggest linguistic authority, starts working in La Coruna, Spain. 1907, the McKinney National Memorial, the final resting place of assassinated US President William McKinley and his family, is dedicated in Canton, Ohio. 1909, the Cunard Line's RMS Mauretania makes a record-breaking westbound crossing of the Atlantic that will not be bettered for 20 years. 1915, World War One, Radoje Lutovac becomes the first soldier in history to shoot down an enemy aircraft with ground-to-air fire. 1918, Ukrainian War of Independence, insurgent forces led by Nestor Makhno defeat the Central Powers at the Battle of Brivika. 1935, the Hoover Dam astride the border between the U.S. states of Arizona and Nevada is dedicated. 1938, Britain, France, Germany, and Italy signed the Munich Agreement, whereby Germany annexes the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia. 1938, the League of Nations unanimously outlaws intentional bombings of civilian population. 1939, World War II, General Ladislaw Sikorski became Prime Minister of the Polish government in exile. 1939, NBC broadcast the first televised American football game. 1941, World War II, the Babi Yar massacre comes to an end. 1943, the United States Merchant Marine Academy is dedicated by President Roosevelt. 1944, the Germans commence a counteroffensive to retake the Nijmegen salient, this having been captured by the Allies during Operation Market Garden. 1945, the Burnley End rail crash in Hertfordshire, England kills 43. 1947, the 1947 World Series begins. It is the first to be televised to include an African American player to exceed $2 billion in receipts, to see a pinch hit home run, and to have six umpires on the field. 1947, Pakistan joins the United Nations. 1949, the Berlin airlift ends. 1954, the US Navy submarine USS Nautilus is commissioned as the world's first nuclear-powered vessel. 1965, six Indonesian army generals were assassinated by the September 30 movement. The PKI was blamed for the latter, resulting in mass killings of suspected leftists. 1966, Bechuanaland declares its independence and becomes the Republic of Botswana. 1968, the Boeing 747 is rolled out and sold to the public for the first time. 1970, Jordan makes a deal with the PFLP for the release of the remaining hostages from the Dawson's Field hijackings. 1975, Malep Flight 240 crashes into the Mediterranean Sea while on approach to Beirut International Airport in Beirut, Lebanon, killing 60. 1978, Finnair Flight 405 is hijacked by Arno Lemmy in Oulu, Finland. 1980, Ethernet specifications are published by Xerox working with Intel and Digital Equipment Corporation. 1993, the 6.2 megawatt Latur earthquake shakes Maharashtra, India with a maximum mercurial intensity of 8, severely killing 9,748 and injuring 30,000. 1994, Space Shuttle Endeavour is launched on STS-68. 1999, the Tokaimura nuclear accident causes the deaths of two technicians in Japan's second worst nuclear accident. 2000, Israeli-Palestinian conflict. 12-year-old Mohammed al-Zura is shot and killed on the second day of the second Intifada. 2005, controversial drawings of Muhammad are printed in a Danish newspaper. 2009, the 7.6 megawatt Sumatra earthquake leaves 1,115 people dead. 2016, Hurricane Matthew becomes a Category 5 hurricane, making it to the strongest hurricane to form in the Caribbean Sea since 2007. 2016, two paintings with a combined value of $100 million are recovered after having been stolen from the Van Gogh Museum in 2002. Thank you very much for your patience.